The rematch between Rudeus and Orsted is basically one of the biggest fights in the entire story of Mushoku Tensei. Not only did it take a lot of prep time, it actually had a lot of the main characters be part of the fight, and it also took a very long time with a lot of spells being used, a lot of melee happening, a lot of people joining in that we haven't seen for a very long time, and it is a fight that you definitely do not want to miss. In this video, I'm going to be covering the entire fight from the beginning when Rudeus finds out that he needs to actually go and rematch with Orsted, all the way to the end until after they reach the conclusion. I gotta let you guys know beforehand that this all happened after Rudeus read the contents of the diary that old Rudeus presented to him. If you haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and let me know in the comments what else you want me to cover regarding the story of Mushoku Tensei. Any part of the light novel is fair game. Let's get into it. Hitogami tells Rudeus to kill Orsted. After Rudeus reads the diary from old Rudeus, he realized that Hitogami is the reason for Rudeus' entire family and everyone that he loves died. Then that night, while he was sleeping, Hitogami shows up in Rudeus' head like he normally does, but this time he is pissed. And he is pissed off because old Rudeus basically ruined his entire plan and told present self Rudeus the truth. Hitogami knows this because he is able to read the minds of people that he shows up in their dreams. Now Rudeus questions why Hitogami killed his entire family, and the answer is Hitogami can see his own future, and in said future, he is eventually killed by Orsted and Rudeus' kids, but he can't exactly see how, so he is unable to see Orsted or his future. And Rudeus and his kids have a very strong fate that even Hitogami can manipulate. Now people always ask me in the comments in other videos that I post, why doesn't Hitogami just kill Roxy or Rudeus? And that is because their fate is too strong. As a matter of fact, in many alternate futures Hitogami saw, Rudeus never died in his first battle with Orsted, and him and Roxy always get married and get pregnant, so his solution was to kill her after she got pregnant because her fate weakened. So Rudeus asks him for anything in order to leave his family alone, and Hitogami tells him the one and only solution is to kill Orsted. Unfortunately for Rudeus, he can't do it alone, so he sends a letter to someone to ask for help. Rudeus sent a letter to someone asking for help in his fight against Orsted, and that person was Eris. Not only did he write to her asking for her help during the fight, he also asked her to be his third wife. Bold of him. Reason for this was because thanks to the diary of old Rudeus, the present Rudeus was able to understand that the reason Eris left him was because she loved him so much the entire time that she was going through all of that hard training for him. So after getting permission from Roxy and Sylphie, which they were a little bit iffy about, he sent her a letter asking for her help into the fight and also to become his third wife. And if not, she could just be friends. She decided to travel to meet up with Rudeus. Meanwhile, Rudeus is meeting up with Nanahoshi to ask her thoughts. She hypothesizes that since Rudeus had a purpose in that world, which was to create the descendants that would kill Hitogami, her purpose must be also to help Rudeus and Orsted in some way, so she suggests that Rudeus go talk to Orsted. Rudeus obviously is going to refuse and begs Nanahoshi to help him kill Orsted instead, and she agrees to help. Rudeus then begins preparations to fight Orsted by doing several things, one of which was creating a massive magic armor suit for himself. Hitogami appears in Rudeus' dreams again that night and gives him some pointers on how to make the suit of armor stronger to boost his chances, and Rudeus asks how does he know Orsted kills him since he can't see Orsted's future. Hitogami then mentions that he can't see Orsted, but he can see his own, and in said future he is surrounded by Orsted, Rudeus' descendants, and a man that he has never met before, and they brutally end his life. 3 months pass and Rudeus finishes all preparations to go fight Orsted, but then Roxy tells him something important. She is pregnant. After Roxy announces her pregnancy, Rudeus thanks Roxy, which confuses everyone, but to him this means that she has actually accepted him and he has been accepted as the family member. Even though they were married for a very long time, the fact that she was pregnant with his child was just the last bit of confirmation that he had been accepted. They are having a nice family moment, and then Rudeus states that he needs to tell the family something. That in a few days he will have to fight someone, but doesn't say exactly that it's the dragon god Orsted. Then he states he may not win, and that night is probably going to be the last one that he will spend with his family. However, that night Rudeus calls Roxy and Sylphie to the room together and tells both of them everything that is going on regarding Hitogami and his fight with Orsted, also why is everything happening. A few days later, Rudeus leaves and we switch to Orsted's perspective. He is in a deserted village, but there is one building that obviously looks like it's new. Orsted goes to check it, calling for Nanahoshi's name. He walks inside and then the place smells weird, and the floor looks like it was painted with some sort of oil. He tries opening a door and feels like a pickle in his hand, but it doesn't look like he was hurt when he looks at his hand. Then Then he sees a box and opens it, and a lot of smoke starts coming from it with a ring along. The ring was the thing that had lured Orsted into that building. Then the sky turns to white. Turns out Rudeus had sent a lightning strike on Orsted. Rudeus sent a full lightning strike at Orsted, but he wasn't done. He followed it up by making it rain using Cumulonimbus, a massive spell he used back in Season 1 to create a storm. Then he froze every single molecule of the entire time using Frost Nova. Then he started freezing the rain that kept falling until it became a mountain of ice. On top of that, he created a massive rock in the air to cover the entire town and dropped it to flatten the place. And none of that was enough. The rock cracked open, and on top of that, Rudeus felt such a murderous intent that it made his legs tremble. He jumped into the magical armor that he had made and immediately used a fire spell that acted like a nuclear explosion, putting as much magic into it and speed as he possibly could. So bad, it even created a mushroom cloud. But even though he couldn't see, his body couldn't stop shaking. Orsted was still alive. He used the Gatling gun on the armor to shoot stone cannon bullets, and even though Rudeus was using his demon eye to see where to shoot in order to hit Orsted, Orsted evaded every single one of the stone bullets. Now Rudeus tried using Quagmire to immobilize him, but Orsted used Disturb magic. However, Rudeus found a way around Disturb magic, so he was still able to get Orsted, but he got out of it and ran to Rudeus until he got close enough to punch him so hard he blew the entire magic armor away, which actually weighed several tons. Rudeus barely got up and charged at him with the pointy side of the shield of the armor, trying to stab him. This time Orsted was the one that was sent flying with blood coming from his arm. Rudeus then started shooting at him again with the Gatling gun, and this time it hit him. His body fell to the ground, and this gave Rudeus hope that maybe he could actually win. But then he heard the words, "No other choice, huh?" And it was all over. Orsted suddenly appeared in front of Rudeus with a sword and cleanly cut the left arm of the armor. Then, as he was about to cut the entire thing in half, Rudeus got out and was laying on the floor. He tried to move, but he couldn't. His body was completely exhausted and he had run out of mana. Then Orsted stands in front of Rudeus and says, "So it was you, Rudeus Greater. I heard you were living in peace. Why have you come after me?" Rudeus says that Hitogami told him Orsted is going to destroy the entire world and his descendants help Orsted kill Hitogami. This actually makes Orsted stop in his tracks for a second and ask, "What did you just say?" So Rudeus begs Orsted to please not destroy the world, because for the first time ever he is finally happy, and begs him to give up on Hitogami. Orsted says he can't do that. Then Rudeus bites his foot, and as he's about to kill Rudeus, someone jumps between them, making Orsted jump back and saved him. It was a tall woman with a single sword and a crimson hair. It was Eris who had finally shown up. You see, Eris finally showed up because she found Rudeus thanks to that mushroom cloud that was created by the fire spell that he had previously used. She is ready to draw her sword, which is actually one of the 7 sword god swords, cursed blades that were created from the bones of king dragons. The one Eris has is the Phoenix Elegant Dragon Sword, which is a sword she specifically picked because of the fact that it has the special defense nullification ability. She chose this one for the sole purpose to weaken Orsted. And Orsted asks Eris if Rudeus, someone who isn't Luke, was that important to her. When she questions what Luke, Orsted says he is the man fated to become her husband, and she just said that "I don't know anything about that." Orsted is surprised that Eris, the mad dog, isn't attacking but actually carefully planning and waiting on Rudeus to be healed by Sylphie and Roxy, who had come to help as well. Then he says to Eris, "I know it's a different person," then catches himself and stops talking, instead points his sword at Eris with one hand. Fortunately for Eris, when she was training to fight Orsted, this was something that she had prepared for all along. If Orsted used a sword god move called the Sword of Light with one hand, she had prepared a move called Light Reversal to cut off his one hand, and Orsted actually did it. So she successfully cut off the hand of Orsted that was holding a sword. She got excited at this. Unfortunately for her, Orsted used his other hand to grab the cut off hand and just reattached it like it was nothing. Then Roundhouse kicked her, but she dodged. Then Orsted and Eris clashed swords a couple of times, and Orsted just randomly completely healed every single wound that Rudeus had caused. Shortly after, Rudeus stands up being healed, but he is in no condition to fight. He looks like he is about to die actually. But Eris yells to run Rudeus and escape. Sylphie refuses and says that she would help Eris hold Orsted back. Roxy didn't volunteer because, well, she was pregnant. She was in no condition to fight at all, and after seeing everyone's determination, Orsted let out a sigh and then just screamed, "Rudeus Greyrat, as long as you're allied to the human god, I will not let you escape. Even if I have to kill everyone here, I will hunt you down and kill you," which made Rudeus start trembling again even more. Then he continued, "I don't believe anything Hitogami said, but if it is true, after I kill you, I will kidnap your children." Rudeus stopped shaking and was ready to fight again, but then Orsted said Rudeus could actually be useful, then asked him to betray Hitogami and join Orsted instead, saying if he had Orsted's protection, Hitogami wouldn't be able to easily reach him, including that conversation they are having. Rudeus kneeled down in front of him and asked him to please help him, and from that moment on, Rudeus became a subordinate of Orsted. That completely covers the entire fight that Orsted and Rudeus had as a rematch. Obviously, there were a couple of details here and there that I did not include just because I am trying to summarize an entire fight for you guys, but you get the massive gist of it and just how important this fight is going to be, because immediately after is when Rudeus starts to find out that Orsted is actually a time leaper and has been looping through time for thousands and thousands of years only to try to end the life of Hitogami, but has never been able to do it, and now he has the hope because Rudeus is able to create descendants that are going to end the life of Hitogami. As I said already, if you guys want to find out more of my content, or if you enjoy this content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and let me know in the comment sections what you think. I'll see you guys on the next video.